And so we took our wife's credit cards because they were making the money. We went to Home Depot and we bought the pipes, and we spent the next week building out potato guns. Super fun. And then the next Monday I was back in school, and I remember sitting there thinking about my business, and all of a sudden I had the epiphany, like the light bulb moment, where I was like, I wonder if anyone else besides me was searching for potato guns this week. I don't know. And I searched, and there were about 18,000 people a month searching for potato gun plans and spud guns, and I was like, that's it. That's gonna be my business. I'm gonna potato gun expert. First, it was just a tool for me. Like, that was really the initial goal of ClickFunnels. Like, and then after I started using it and I was having success, I was like, we have to make this a tool for everyone. Like, it'll free all entrepreneurs. My initial goal is not to make you $1 billion. My initial goal is to get you to break even. Now you have a tool that will consistently all day long give you free customers. I want you to do it now while you're in the moment, while you remember why it's important, why you saw me do it, so you don't forget and we can get it. And worst case, like, this will be the worst one you ever do. The next one you do will be better. It's not about the people watching you. It's about you guys, about us learning our voice. That's the most important thing. Someone the other day was upset about something I did. They're like, well, my dad always taught me to play nice. I was like, oh, well, my dad taught me to win. My goal for the next 3 years is if I can give you guys some tools and some things that'll help you to change more people's lives in your world, then for me, that's a huge win. What is that thing for your business? Like, what's the one huge domino that if you can knock that thing down, everything else becomes obsolete? You have to lead them to the answer, but you can't give it to them. They have to come up with the idea themselves. You plant the idea in their minds with a story, and if they come up with the answer, then they sold themselves.
He's a marketing genius. That's his brilliance.
Russell rhymes with funnel.
How to market, how to promote, and even how to sell.
He's here to help entrepreneurs create amazing lives.
And on a grand scale.
What's going on, everybody? This is Russell. Welcome back to the live. Man, we are officially 30 days, I believe 30, maybe 31, 30 days away from Funnel Hacking Live, number 10, The Last Dance. And I'm excited because this looks like it's going to become the biggest and the best funnel hacking live of all time. Ticket sales are coming in faster now than we've ever had in the past, partially because I think it's the last one. And for years, people are like, I'm going to go next year. I'm going to go next year. And now there is no next year. So people are coming. We also have people who went to one funnel hacking live maybe 4 years ago or 7 years ago and haven't been back. And they're coming back to be part of the funnel hacking reunion. And it's going to be really, really amazing. And so I'm excited, you guys. We are going live, as you know, in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is February 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. If you don't have your tickets yet, go to funnelhackinglive.com to get them. But this is where it's happening, and we're 30-something days away from the party, from the show, and we're so excited to be there and be able to serve you guys. And I wanted to actually introduce you to one of our next guest speakers, and this is person. So when we were planning our very first ever Funnel Hacking Live, my goal was like, I want to find someone in our community who's doing every different type of funnel. And about a month or two before Funnel Hacking Live, someone on my team sent me this funnel. And I get the page, it pops open, and all I remember was the most intense human being I'd ever seen, like yelling at me through the screen. And I was like, and I wanted to listen to him. I was like, this is awesome. I opted in and I went through the next page of the funnel, like an hour-long documentary. I watched the entire thing. And there took me this application page where he was like getting a tattoo while he was like talking to the camera. And like, it was one of the most engaging funnels I'd ever seen that was taking somebody to a high-ticket sale. And I didn't know much more about him other than what I just seen right there in the documentary I'd watched. But I knew what he was doing was unique and it was different. He was building a movement, which is something I'm obsessed with. And I really resonated with him. And so I connected with him. I was like, hey, man, do you want to come speak at the first ever Funnel Hacking Live and show behind the scenes what you're doing? And he said yes. And he came on stage. And the first time I met him was probably 30 seconds before he went on stage. He walked up to me, big old with boots on and all, in black, came up, gave me a hug, got on stage. And then I still remember the first 3 words he said from stage was "stop effing lying," which I was like, what just happened? And he starts yelling at the crowd. And I was so nervous that people were going to be offended. And there were people that were offended, but there were more people came to me afterwards was like, man, this event was amazing. But like his presentation was the thing I needed. This is why I came, to help me to wake up, to help me to understand that I have a calling, I have a mission, and I've been sleeping. I've been sedating my whole life, and I need to step up and step into my power and into who I am. And it was really interesting. And so this Funnel Hacking Live number 2, I had him come back, and number 3 and number 4. And as of right now, He is the only speaker besides me who has spoken at every one of our funnel hacking lives. And we thought with The Last Dance, number 10, we've got to have him back for The Last Dance to share with you guys some really cool things and kind of wrap up the entire decade of funnel hacking live. So with that said, I'm sure most of you guys can guess who it is at this point. Let's put our hands together for Garrett White. Garrett J. White. What's up, Garrett? How you doing, man?
I am very excited to be here. Honored to be here. I'm coming in from my theater because all my offices in Miami are not quite ready. We'll get those next week. We made the move across the country, but we have not abandoned this amazing family and community here at ClickFunnels, and being part of FHL 10, the finale, The Last Dance, and given an opportunity to come in on last day, be part of this with Tony in putting a bow on this community at this chapter and allow a new book to open up.
It's crazy to spend 10 years, man. It feels like I just met you, and it's been like this journey I feel like we've been on together for the last decade. It's been fun because, like, obviously I've been building my movement, Funnel Hackers, and at the same time I'm watching you build what you've done with Warrior and with your men and with everything. And it's just been such a fun, at least for me, such a fun journey to watch what you've been doing as well. And now again, how many years ago did Warrior launch officially? It's been more than a decade now, right?
So we launched Wake Up Warrior in 2012. And that was like our relationship with ClickFunnels and with you and I began because of my ruthless commitment to do what God was calling me to do, which was to share this message that I had found to set myself free with other men. So we're using Lead Pages and Infusionsoft and Kajabi, and we were putting all these software tools together in kind of this duct tape fashion. And I think I was user like 130 or something like that. And one of my guys had gotten obsessed about your platform and was like, we got to do this ClickFunnels. I was like, bro, I can't do one more piece of software. I'm going to shoot myself in the face. It's already a nightmare. We got onto ClickFunnels. What I didn't recognize at the time, though, and I've said this before, you were the single greatest reason my wife became a direct response marketer. Like I would talk to her, but she wouldn't listen to me. For whatever reason, you have an ability to connect with women and men on that message. I'm real intense. I connect with both too, but my wife, she married to me, so she wasn't going to listen. And we're sitting in Mexico, and I have the printer's edition, the editor's edition of .com Secrets. And my wife is reading this book. My wife doesn't read, by the way. She does now, but she didn't then. Like, this was one of the first books I'd ever seen her read, like in front, and she read it for 3 straight days. And from that moment on, like myself, Wake Up Warrior, DKW Styling, our hair brands, we've been sold out to the cause here, but not for a lot of reasons people think. Right? You're incredibly brilliant. The people that come to FHL are very smart. They're some of the best marketers and best people in the ad space, the funnel space that exist. No question about it. You've done that for 10 years. You've continued to accelerate in who you are. But the piece that people don't understand that happens inside of this game with Russell and what he's been able to create is an energetic shift that occurs on the inside of you to make the decision to go. It's totally different than knowing what to do. It's being able to go. So people say to me, like, I said no to any event. I didn't speak at any other events. This is the first year going to 25. I'm actually going to speak at events. In a decade, I spoke at 2 events. 3 events. Warrior events, our hair events, and Funnel Hacking. And people say, why are you getting paid to go there? I was like, nope. Why are you going to do it? I was like, give back. Give back to what Russell created for me, which was an opportunity to simplify the game and allow me to focus on message God had given me to share with the world. And the prosperity that's come off that's been incredible. So FHL is like a very special place for me. I enjoy being there. I love being there. And I've gotten to be 10 different personalities at ClickFunnels over the last 10 years. So
I know. Do I have the book covered here?
the Have It All book?
Yeah,
I know the cover. It's got like 7 or 8 of the different versions of it on there.
And this version of Garrett, you're like 80 pounds heavier, all in the chest and upper body than the last 2 years ago.
Yeah, dude, we have taken on the bodybuilding game. I lost a bet with my wife, and it was a good bet to lose because it took me down a different path to explore something new inside myself physically. And this is a lot like what the experience is for people when they're venturing out from what they know. A lot of us get excited sitting at home. We're watching this right now. You watch on your phone. You're sitting at your house. You're consuming this from driving down the road. Being in a room and being physically in a room and making the commitment to go. I mean, dude, I'm coming back out to Vegas. We just moved out to Miami. Half the events were out here, and I was having to fly out from California. Now I got to fly back to Vegas. Just the commitment to go begins the journey of transformation. Tony's one that says that transformation isn't a journey, it's a moment, it's a decision. A decision. For many of you watching this right now, you've made the small decisions. The easy decision is getting a ticket. The next decision is getting on the plane to get there. And the third decision is when you're in the room, allowing yourself to be open to this transformative decision from the inside out. I'm going to come back to you. Like, how many times, and you and I have had the text conversation back and forth and nobody ever sees about the weight of carrying this. Like, why have you been able to do this for 10 years? What is the thing behind the thing for you? You make money a ton of different ways, bro. Outside of events like FHL, I run big events. For big events, I get it's a huge amount of weight. For you, why did you continue to push this way, particularly with these live events? When a lot of people were going away from them, they were just like, "When did you FHL?" I get it's the last one, but you did it for a decade. It's impressive.
I think it's because for me, like I remember when I first discovered this stuff, like the thrill of like learning it and discovering it was so like, man, it made me alive when I was first learning this. And eventually get to the point where it's like, it's harder to get new things. And I remember for me, the first time I transitioned from me just learning to grow for myself and I started transitioning to contribution, and first time we did an event and I'm sharing these things, I see people's eyes light up. And like, that was the first time, but then you start seeing success and start seeing people doing things. I think FHL 3 was the first time we had the 2 Comic Club Awards and seeing people coming on stage, people who are all in the audience and they get their stage, they're coming on stage and people like all of a sudden they're sitting in the room looking at their peers around them coming up on stage and they have belief. And next year we get like 5 times more at 2 Comic Club Awards. And like the momentum that started happening from this, it was just like, man, I love being in this fire with everybody and seeing it and like seeing the ahas and light bulbs happen and seeing when people go from that transformation where at first they're trying to make money and they get some money and they realize like how empty that feels and they transition to like serving and all of a sudden they feel what that feels like and then they're on fire. And man, like for me, it's been the ride of a lifetime. Like I'm sure I'm gonna be very emotional. It's gonna be very hard at the end of FHL 10. But yeah, we spent the last decade doing this because you know how it is, man. When you see the lives change and you see those connections happening, it's one of the most rewarding things in the world. I talk about this like when I was an athlete and I was competing, I get my hand raised. I thought that was the greatest feeling in the world my entire life until my boys, my twins started wrestling in 6th grade, and one of my sons was not good. In fact, my son who's leaving tomorrow on a mission, he was not very good. In fact, he lost every match his first year until the very last match, and we worked so hard just getting to not lose. In the very last match, he wins. And I remember when he got his hand raised, I was like, that feels infinitely better than anytime my hand ever got raised. And I was like, I want to experience that over and over. And like, for me, that's what this was like, helping people experience that it's been the best feeling in the world. So
I want you guys to hear what he's saying, like in a genuine and true way. And it's difficult. If you're still trying to create your first success, this event is for you and that experience is for you because you're going to be around people who have gone through the first chapter into the second chapter. If you divide the game up, you have 2 moves. Take care of myself and my family by creating value for the world. And then you have serve the world and fulfill God's purpose. And these are 2 radically different experiences. And we can't get to the second one until we get the first one. Yet the first one is what qualifies the second one because now you have the skills, talents, and abilities to get there. And that as a marketer, like I was sitting at Lululemon 2 days ago with my wife getting clothes. And this young man's running the front checkout and he's super stoked. And he's like, very inquisitive, asking me all these questions, very smart. And he goes, what do you think I need to learn? I said, it's very simple. Marketing and sales. Mm-hmm. If you can market and you can sell, whatever God asks you to do next, you can go do. Mm-hmm. So he's like, where do I start? I was like, it's really simple. You heard a guy named Russell Brunson. He's like, no. I was like, put it in your phone. Look it up. Get all his books and study them as if you were as passionately studying the Bible as a Christian. Like study them as if your life depended on it. What's the next best thing to studying it? Immersing yourself in the energy of it. You will learn the concepts that Russell teaches exponentially faster being in this room than if you sit at home and you study by yourself for the next year. You can quicken up 6 months to 12 months of growth in 4 or 5 days being in this environment, because the hardest piece is not knowing what to do. He's telling you exactly what to do in the books. I've told you guys this over and over again. If you just followed what he's telling you in the books, it works. But then there's you, and you're the problem. And that's always the hardest piece. And that's why sometimes when you're a rookie coming up, you think, why do they always say that? It's just a hypey thing. It's a motivation thing. No, you're the problem and the opportunity. And when you put yourself in an environment with so many growth-minded entrepreneurs who are all committed to going, who are both levels, trying to get and take their family to a place of abundance, and another group which are trying to go wake the world up, which is the stage Russell's in, stage I'm in, is that how do we wake more people up to these truths? How do we help them come down and get this first success? So regardless of the level you're at, it's going to be phenomenal. And it's going to be also, it will be something very special. Yeah. I promise you, because anytime that a decade-long book comes to a close, you see two things happen. Number one, there will be magic and fire and power in that room that's not been there in the previous 9 years. Because everybody's intention knows this is the grand finale. And at the second token, you're going to get some of the greatest trainers that have ever played in this game the last 10 years that are all going to be there teaching on every concept under the sun that Russell teaches. And we're going to get to see a version of Russell on stage. I promise you. A version that none of you have seen before. Because when you go through this is a death. This is a death and a rebirth. This is a death to a decade of living a certain way and a rebirth into a new stage. And it can be the same for all of you and me when we come together under that condition. And you're like, well, what does that have to do with making money? It has everything to do with making money. Like you are all sitting in a certain place. And I've said this, it was on a book Have It All Russell and I had together, which we've not ever sent anywhere, but we got a lot of them and they're sitting in a warehouse. So one day we're going to do it, maybe in our 60s, we're going to send that book out. With simple, which is the business that you build fuels everything. But the life that you want, the marriage that you want, everything you want will be fueled by the business you built. And people look at this as not a spiritual thing. And I would have you consider the single most important skill that God has given us to learn and to use is a skill of marketing and selling, which is persuasion. Jesus and the apostles of Christ were like affiliate marketers. They knew how to market. They knew how to take a message forward. Jesus had brought a message forward. Like these were messengers who had a courage inside of them to speak truth. And truth is what you're going to get. Truth is what you're going to get at the event. You're going to get tactical truth. You're going to get tools. You're going to get training. And you're going to get inspiration and you're going to get awakening. So it's a moment for all of us. It's great for me too. People ask me like, how you feel about it being the last one? I was like, it's proper. I just moved to Miami. We're launching in a totally like amazing way with what we're doing with our companies. Russell is too. And we're now sitting in this place going, okay, it's time for many of you to experience this next step up.
Yeah. Dude, it's going to be awesome. And for those who don't know, this year is going to be a little different. A lot of people I keep seeing posting in the Facebook group, like, when does the event end? When should my flights go home? And I would recommend do not go home the night that the event ends because something crazy is going to be happening on that night. So as you guys may or may not know, after lunch on day 4, that's when Tony Robbins comes out and Tony will do what Tony does. We've had Tony who's gone, we've had 3-hour Tony and we've had 7-hour Tony. And you never know what that's going to look like. And after Tony is done, then Garrett's going to come and put a bow on the event as the final speaker, kind of the beginning and the end, and to wrap everything up. What should people, just to make sure nobody leaves early, what should they be preparing for? What's going to happen post Tony?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll tell you. When you get into an event and experience like this, it's not just about what's happened the last 10 years. The most important thing that occurs is what your internal shift is and the actions directly linked to it. What is it that I'm going to actually do with the things that I just had? You're going to be baptized with a whole bunch of information and you're going to see so much and there's going to be so much content. My job after Tony gets you whipped into an emotional frenzy is to come back to now with all that fire and all of the form and the frames that you've been taught, taking all those forms and frames and Tony's fire, and I'm going to forge them together. And you're going to walk out of there with the simple, specific things that must be done to move forward powerfully from the event. Otherwise, all of the function, all of the frames, everything you learned will be over here, and the fire will be right here. And then there'll be you leaving, man, I'm thinking you should have took early flight. For many of you, don't make this mistake. Not only make a mistake of not being there, don't make a mistake. Give yourself permission to be with the entire rest of the process, because we put a bow on the event and close out a decade. We're also going to close out your experience during that time in a way that we tactically do here at Wake Up Warrior with our 65,000 men, and we watched and know works every single time, because here at Warrior, it's the same thing. We don't have Tony come into our world. Like, I'm the Tony in the Warrior world, and my version, Garrett J. White, and we've watched this work every single time. And if results are what you want, getting a ticket to Funnel Hacking Live is where you need to be. If you're struggling in your marketing, it's where you need to be. If you're dominating your market, moving into the second book in the game, just like Ross and I, it's where you need to be. The relationships, the networks, the socialization, everything is happening inside that venue and outside in hallways and at night times and in the morning at the gym and everywhere else that goes on is amazing. But at the very end, this is like quitting. This is like quitting before you get to the finish line. I promise you'll be worth to stick around with Tony and myself and wrap this thing up right for you at the event so that you go home clear. You go home focused with a specific action plan, as well as get to celebrate a decade of growth with us here at ClickFunnels.
So exciting, man. So everybody, we are 30 days away from that Funnel Hacking Live, the last dance. It's February 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Garrett, do you have any kind of bonus you want to throw in for anyone who's like on the fence trying to figure out? I saw someone in the comments right now saying like, I got to find someone to watch my kids. Like what do you got to help push people over the edge to make sure that they do not miss this event, the last one?
So the last 12 years, I've run Wake Up Warrior. I've also run a hair brand called Unforgettable Styling with my wife. We have 26 men's movements that have been birthed off the backside of it. And there's a central series of 6 skills that are required to run a movement. Speaking, seducing, teaching, training, coaching, and consulting. All of these 6 skills, when wrapped up together, are what we call the Warrior Method. So I have figured out over the last 12 years with what we've done with our movements and the other men's movements that I lead, inside of all of those, how do you get an individual who is called to actually weaponize themselves with these 6 skills? We've been running an event series for last year called the Warrior Method Bootcamp. For the very first time, we have it now in an on-demand education format. This class can anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. And for everyone that gets a ticket today, we're going to give you the on-demand version of this. It's our 3-day virtual training that has been broken down into step-by-step action maps and action plans. This product, interestingly enough, we were going to sell more than we did the virtual live events starting here in the next 2 months. So we want to give it to you guys for free as a gift on top of everything else that you're getting here to come. So for those who get your ticket today and get yourself registered Funnel Hacking Live, you're going to get access to this experience on demand and get access to all the training around speaking, seducing, teaching, training, coaching, consulting, but it's under the framework of being a movement maker. It's under the framework of leading people with these 6 skills as you intertwine them into one harmonious experience.
So cool, man. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. Now is the time. You can go get your tickets at funnelhackinglive.com. If you already have a ticket, if you scroll to the bottom, there's a little login link. Log in there, takes you to the members area. Inside the members area, we will throw Garrett's bonus in there along with all the other speaker bonuses. These speaker bonuses, we will be deleting them very, very soon. As soon as all the speaker bonuses have been revealed, we got like 24 hours and we take them all away. So now is the time to get them. If you want those, if you don't have a ticket yet and you want Garrett's bonus, plus you want to come to the greatest show of all time, all you gotta do is go to funnelhackinglive.com to get your tickets. Again, it's happening in Nevada, February 12th through 15th. And it's gonna be insane. I can't even like comprehend. I got 30 days to start working on my presentations and to create something that's going to change your guys' lives forever. So I'm pumped, grateful for Garrett coming back for number 10. And it's been a crazy decade, man. And just grateful for all your serving along the journey. So it's been awesome.
Amazing, bro. I love and appreciate you, man. This is fantastic. The rest of you amazing people. I look forward to seeing you guys in Las Vegas. I'll be there with my wife and a bunch of our crew here from Wake Up Warrior. All excited to be there too. Part of this last final experience as we wrap up a decade of Russell's work and put a stamp on his legacy for launching the highest number of movement makers by any stretch of the imagination that's ever been done. No one else has launched more movement makers than Russell. I'm one of them. And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 8-figure, multiple 8-figure business owners who run massive movements, all done because this man had the courage to open his voice, and we want you to do the same. So we look forward to seeing you at Funnel Hacking Live. You know what to do. Go to funnelhackinglive.com or live.com. Get your ticket today. Wrap up all the bonuses. As Russell said, you're going to lose all of the gifts, including mine. Horrible mistake. Horrible mistake. So get your ticket. Make sure you get those bonuses, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Vegas.
Awesome. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, everyone. To end this out, we're going to play a video showing you guys what happens at Funnel Hacking Live. It's like 3 minutes long. As you're watching this, picture yourself sitting in the room, experiencing it, and then go get your tickets. Thanks so much, everybody. And Garrett, I'll see you in 30 days, man. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
So many of us as entrepreneurs have limiting beliefs. We think money is something we should be afraid of. We should be afraid to lose it. We should be afraid to ask for it. What is being talked about here is how to overcome that.
What do you want, and why are you here? I came to Funnel Hacking Live without a business.
I was working 2 jobs. I still didn't have enough.
I procrastinated my way into depression.
I'd just gotten out of a heavy addiction.
I was sued by multiple creditors.
This is not my life. This is not my life. I know I'm meant for more.
You find yourself lost, frustrated, disconnected,
because you have no fire.
Put your seatbelts on.
When you go, you don't know what you need. You don't really know what you're going to find. And then you find it. When I got here, I was like, I found my people.
Funnel Hacking Live is like coming home.
Raise your hand if you're like me and you're a hot mess.
I'm a hot mess!
I felt like Michael Jackson or something, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was Prince.
This is a rock concert for entrepreneurs.
Dramatic demonstration.
Russell's gonna hate me for that.
It's like my long-lost ADHD family.
I can be myself. You don't have to put on this stereotypical business appearance.
I'm a firm believer that you can be really successful in business and still be like a really good person.
the most powerful force is economic force.
I've been doing this now 20 years. I can't tell you the number of gurus who have come and gone and come and gone. If you want to grow a company today, this is the way.
You and I are going to demonstrate how powerful the focused human mind can be.
You have got a map. That's the key.
There aren't many things that can take you from zero to generational wealth in less than a year. We literally have people that came here with a big idea, got super turned on, took the information, and then they go home and they do it.
I'm going to tell you how I get paid every single month from my kitchen with my phone.
This piece makes the content come alive.
I like the cutting edge strategies.
We need to know what's working right now.
That's the most effective and the fastest path to success in today's market.
Once I saw the results I was getting, I knew we were onto something really big.
We're teaching how we're adding over 1,000 people per day to our membership programs.
I want to reach in and grab your heart and be like, wake up! Because some of you have a calling. Unless you are open, you will get nothing. And you will say, hey, we just had Dwayne Johnson's son double do a presentation. I get paid the same amount of money whether they go home smart or stupid. You know, it don't matter to them.
Now, how many of you in the room are going, man, I don't have a team? Let me see your hand. Okay, do me a favor. Look to your left, look to your right. You have a team.
The way to win this game of business is together.
When ESPN said, babe, you can't do it, I said, oh yeah, watch me, watch me.
Like, come out here and blow fire up your ass.
How many people ready to get your first pick from the world? Somebody say that's me.
It's like an Oscar show or something.
I give you permission to say goodbye to the past and hello to whatever future you want to have. I'm giving you permission right now.
Give your family a chance.
You are meant to shine.
Don't fight your people, they need you.
Say it from your doggone heart. I can. I will. I must. Because they counting on me.